Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bring Back the Love Conversations. I'm your host, AJ Throwback. Great to be here with y'all on another Friday night. And I'm here with my brother. Let me tell y'all about this brother real quick. You know what I'm saying? Before we hand it off to him a little bit. This brother is, I want to say, the first and currently the only person who's ever featured one of my instrumentals on a mixtape, beat tape, whatever you want to call it. And also created a visual for that very instrumental. I have been in so many circles with this brother. Like, I've actually been in a video he shot, maybe more than one.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
actually a couple now that I think about it.
There's been a
As
couple.
Yeah, because I just remembered the one with what's our guy, Mental to God. I forgot all about the one with Mental to God, and then the one with ADST.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's probably another one in there
Eh,
somewhere that I'm forgetting.
yeah. I think there's
Yeah,
one more.
yeah. I can't think of it right now, but it's gonna come to me.
Yeah.
And when I say there are two people in this area that I run into the most. There is our brother Malik Hunter, aka Fire Archer, and this guy right here, none other than my brother Gadget, aka Skype Williams. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
man.
Aka the Digital Hustler. You know. Thank you
Thank you,
so much for
man.
coming on. Absolutely, my brother.
I appreciate being here, bro.
Yes. It's only right. It's only right, man. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
And
when you
and I love R&B.
yes.
People think I'm super boom bap, but it starts with R&B, bro.
See, this is why you're here. This is exactly why you're here. And it's, it's funny that you said it, because it's the same thing for me, because I produce primarily hip hop. And I am a recording artist as well. Like, my first love has always been R&B music. You know what I'm saying? That's what kind
Right.
of opened the door and like informs a lot of what I do when it comes to even hip hop production. And I think for a lot of people that are in it, like R&B, soul, and different genres kind of opened the door to hip hop, and then hip hop just became the language that we just naturally speak in a lot of different ways, you
Right.
know.
Hip hop started from R&B.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm super excited to have you on tonight, my
I'm
brother.
excited. I'm excited to talk about whatever.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, as somebody who has basically kicked it off proclaiming how much you love R&B, like, what are some of your first memories of really falling in love with it, like when you were younger?
Uh so my mom had one of those stereo systems where you had the turntable, the 8-track, and tape player. It was like it's bigger than a coffee table,
Mm,
and just hear, hearing like Al Green and the OJs on the
yeah.
radio, like in Philly, it was all MFSB. Like
Yes.
as
Yes.
like what's the joint Jim Vance used to play at the end of his broadcast?
My mood.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard that weekly and never got tired of it.
Yeah. Same here.
But so I grew up in Philly, so I heard all the Philly legends all the time.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, yeah, and that's almost an embarrassment of riches, if you let me tell it, because '70s Philly soul is actually my favorite era of R&B. Like, I
You
listen
can't
to,
beat it.
like, you really can't. Like, it's the foundation for so much that comes after it. Like, if you talk about disco, even, like, it has its roots in a lot of what, like, Gamble and Huff, Sal Soul Orchestra, like all of these people who are involved, like MFSB, everybody who was involved with MFSB, like, it has its roots in it. Because I mean, if you think of that, like, that pace that a lot of that music was like, what's the Love I Lost by Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes.
Mhm.
Like, you think about the pace of that song, it's very like the precursor to disco before you called it disco,
Right.
but then they
Yeah.
could easily slow it down and like give you like that soul, like that, the songwriting, the arrangements, the vocal arrangements, like everything, how they put it together, whether you're talking about a Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes, or the OJs, or the 3 Degrees, or even like what Billy Paul was doing. And what I liked about them working with, say, like a Billy Paul, is that Billy Paul got something different than what everybody got. he didn't get everything that everybody else got. Not and I feel like they kind of framed it differently. They had a formula, but Billy Paul was a lot more of a jazz musician. So to be able to frame something that made sense with what he did, I felt like they gave him just a little bit more sometimes. You know,
He didn't have the standard R&B voice
right,
back then.
right,
So
yeah,
they probably did treat him a little bit differently
mm-hmm,
in a good
mm-hmm.
way.
Yes, very much so, very much so. Because if you
Yeah.
think about like a song like "Black Wonders of the World," like that's a song right there. I can't really. Maybe the OJs could have pulled it off, maybe, but it just made more sense for Billy Paul, especially with a lot of the stuff that he was doing other than a Black Wonders of the World. You know what I'm saying? Like a Let 'Em In. Like that was another song that I felt like just kind of sort of was in his wheelhouse. Am I black enough for you? Right in his wheelhouse, even though he didn't have that standard voice. It's like they just did it perfectly for him. But like just thinking about all of the great Philly soul artists, and then the people who weren't even from Philly. Because I mean, you talk about the OJs, they're from Cleveland. You
Right.
talk about Major Harris, who got like a lot of like that Philly soul. He was from somewhere in Virginia. Then you talk about the Manhattans. You know what I'm saying? Like they got that Philly soul too, but you know, not being from Philly, it's like it touched so many different parts of the East Coast and even beyond.
And I think Gamble and Huff came at a time where, Stax was running things,
Yeah, yeah.
from the early 60s to like maybe 72.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, I don't even want to put Stacks down like that, but they were still, putting it down. Shout out to the Stacks. If you ever Memphis, go to the Stacks Museum,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah, yeah,
bro.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like Billy Paul, the Jones Girls,
Yes. Can't forget the Jones Girls.
um, Lou Rawls,
Yep.
like Philly Soul just has some amazing talent.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. They really did. They really did. And what I liked, even like when you get into the 80s, like for a long time, Phyllis Hyman was working with like all of these other producers, but it's like she had to really come home in order for somebody to really finally get her sound, get her vibe, put a couple albums in, and it was like, okay, now you're getting what you really expected. Not to say that she didn't get it in her career at all, like earlier before she ended up at Philly International. But I just felt like when she started getting with like Gamble and Huff, she started getting with Dexter Wansel. You know what I'm saying? People like that. Like, and Dexter Wansel, that's another guy right there.
Boy,
Man, listen.
boy, his
Woo.
arrangements,
Oh my God.
arrangements were second to none.
Yeah, yeah. Musical genius, you know. Absolute genius. And it sounded different than anybody else that like came out of that pool of like Philly producers and rangers, all of that. Like you weren't going to get the same thing from a Dexter Wansel that you were going to get from a McFadden and Whitehead. You weren't going to get the same thing
Nope.
from McFadden and Whitehead that you might get from, say, a Bobby Martin or somebody like that. Like everybody had their own touch, even using the same band. Like they just had their different touches to kind of bring something different out of the same players, but just with a different flair. And Dexter Wansel probably did it on a level that, I mean, it's just out of this world. When you think about Nights Over Egypt, man, like that joint right there, it's like
Man,
it's futuristic and of the time at the same time. You
that
know,
bass line.
woo, my goodness.
Listen, I tell Tracy Lee, that's your best song, bro. Forget the theme.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the joint where you rhyming
Oh,
over
yeah.
Nights Over
Yes,
Egypt. That's your best
yes.
song right there.
Yeah, yeah, and I think he might actually he talks about that song. In fact, when we had him on, me and Shane had him on, we talked about that song at great length of how great that song is. And I think probably a lot of people who are true Tracy Lee fans will agree with you, agree with us that that's definitely, if not his best song, among his best.
Top three.
Yeah, absolutely,
Top
absolutely.
three.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I know we
Yeah.
ain't gonna talk about Philly all day. So
But you know, but that's part of it though. That's part of it because that's the beauty of this conversation. You know, me growing up in DC, I got music a little bit differently, you know what I'm saying? But similarly, because I mean, you all had like stations like WDAS, you know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Classic station right there. And I have some familiarity. And I think the beautiful thing is like different people are in different places. I've had people from New York, I've had people from Cali, I've had people from Canada, you know what I'm saying? Like different places will have similar but different stories. So like being from Philly, and having the radio stations that you have there, the personalities that you have there, like, you know, talk about that in terms of maybe helping to shape that love for R&B even more.
So so when I lived in Philly till I was 12. So
Okay.
I wasn't really into who was, the radio personalities, but my mom did listen to this talk radio show. What was this lady's name? I think she just recently passed like 5 years ago, but
Mm,
she was talk radio before talk radio in
okay.
Philadelphia.
Okay.
Um, but I remember my stepdad. He had a huge record collection, and it was nothing but Al Green and
Mm,
uh the OJs before MFSB. They were on Neptune Records.
right. Yep.
Isley Brothers,
Mm,
Phyllis Hyman, a lot of Lou Rawls. Like
yeah.
he loved Lou Rawls, boy.
Yeah. That's a smooth dude.
Yeah. Um, but it's like when I moved here, it was, I wouldn't say a culture shock, because when I moved to DC, there were no black radio stations in
Mm,
82.
right.
The
Yep. Mhm.
WPGC was a white station.
That's right. That's
I
right.
think KYS might have been the only black station.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I moved here, and that's when I heard the first go-go song that I heard when I moved here. I moved here the summer of 82, Minnesota
Mm.
Avenue.
Mm.
There was a group called Air Raid, Moving and
Air
Grooving.
raid. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Whole summer.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to get off started, but that's how I fell in love with go-go that summer with Air
Mm.
Raid
Mhm.
when I moved here. But going back to, there were no black stations, I got an appreciation for white contemporary music, like
Mhm.
the Phil Collins, the
Yep.
Genesis,
Yep.
the what they consider soft rock now was
Right.
regular music back then to us, or
Mhm.
to me.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's real right there because a lot of that shaped how I looked at music as well. Because like at that time, like you said, PGC wasn't even a thing until like it didn't turn into like an urban contemporary format until 87. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So up until that point, I never forget like listening to PGC one day and like it was like really, I don't even know how to describe the music. It was
It was like they flipped the switch overnight.
right. Cause it was like it was one morning we were riding somewhere and all you just kept hearing was this guy go Morningside, like just randomly just saying Morningside like throughout what was being said. So I was like, what the hell are they talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like not realizing Morningside was the area where they
Right.
were at. You know what I mean? So when they actually switched over to an urban contemporary format, like I was a KYS dude really up until that time. Because I mean, at that point, Donnie Simpson was there
Right.
and he really helped to like make that a competitive station in the area because KYS was they weren't competitive at all for a very
At
long
all.
time until he
At
got
all.
there. You know what I mean? And so him coming along and changing things. And then when you had like again PGC coming along when they changed to that format in 87, then you had the personalities like Albie D, of course.
Mhm.
Um, like that's really he was the main guy that I really
That's the
remember on
only guy I
PGC at that
remember.
time. At that
Yeah.
time, yeah. Like I don't really remember anybody else.
No.
I don't know when David Haynes got there. But like it just the switch flipped and you know, of course HUR was still like in play.
Yeah.
But I didn't really listen to HUR until maybe like 88, 89.
But
Um,
I don't even remember HUR doing music at the time. It might have
Mm,
been just public access back
mm.
then.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they did have, of course, the Quiet Storm that
Yes,
started
yeah,
in
you're right. You're right.
'75. Now I don't know what other music programs that they had. Like I said, I didn't really start listening to HUR till maybe like 88, 89, because my cousin, she would listen to HUR, and they would play a lot of the music of the day at that time. Because I remember like she was recording something, and Night and Day by Al B. Sure. I don't know. I'm still baffled to this day how my cousin was able to record over um like an actual tape, like a industry tape. Like I don't know what she did to be able to record over my Don't Disturb This Groove by the System tape. And I'm still salty to this day
Man,
that
listen.
she recorded over that tape. I mean, granted, she left Don't Disturb This Groove, which was the whole reason why I bought that album in the first place. But she recorded all of this stuff on like the A side of the album after that. I'm like, well, at least you left me Don't Disturb This Groove.
I
You knew
mean,
not to.
you can still put paper in the hole and record
Yeah.
over an industry tape.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's what she did.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, you could have went to the store, got you a TDK joint, got you a Maxell joint, but no, you decide you want to record over my tape. That's cool, you know what I'm saying? The first tape I ever bought with my hard-earned
Wow,
allowance.
that was your
Yeah,
first tape?
first tape I ever bought was the System Don't Disturb This Groove.
Wow.
Yeah, with my money.
I was buying records.
Mm, mm.
I was working at Shakey's Pizza, and
Oh
I was
wow.
buying records.
Wow, shakies. Come on now. It's a whole generation of people don't even know how
Yeah.
great
Oh, they
shakies
don't
was.
know. I was on what's that app? Neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
Is it Neighborhood? Is
Yeah,
that
I
the app?
think mm-hmm.
Neighbors or whatever. And
Yeah,
they were talking about Lito's pizza.
yeah.
It like tastes like cafeteria food. And I was like, man, if y'all only knew about Shakey's.
Right, right,
Oh my
exactly.
God. Uh, it's a dialysis spot now, but shout
Y-
out to my manager John and everybody back at Shakey's back in the day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Most of the shakies joints are like dialysis spots, it seemed like now. Because I remember the one, I don't know if that was the one you was working at, but the one over there, Silver Hill Road.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Oh,
that's
so you worked
one.
there with that one.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I
yeah.
went to Suitland and I would go there after work.
Okay. Okay. That's right. You did go to Suitland. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you kind of sort of alluded to it in terms of like the bit of a culture shock with coming down here and of course being exposed to go-go. Not really seeing a whole lot of like black owned radio stations. But then another aspect of it, when you first got here, BET was like early in the game. You know what I mean? Like it's just basically like taking off at this point. And not even really taking off, like in the way that we kind of sort of saw it take off, at least for me, in the late 80s. I feel like that's when it really became the BET, like I think a
Oh,
lot of us kind of sort of remember and love. So like how did that
you must have been rich because I didn't have cable, so I had
mm.
to rely on Candy Shannon and
Oh, hold
uh
on.
Channel
Music video
9.
connection?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
I would watch what's the they would broadcast live from the Dino's where they would do the hand dancing.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So
Wow. You
I would
took it
just
back.
watch that and listen to the music.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Moon
Uh-huh.
Man.
Wow, you took it back, bro. Man.
But I didn't get cable until when did the box come out? When did It Takes Two come out? Because that's when
That
I
was
got
88.
cable. Damn, my last year
Yeah.
of high school, I got cable.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. That's around the time that we got cable. Like,
Okay,
we didn't get cable till we moved to Halley Terrace in 89. We moved there 88, but for the first couple of months we were living there, we didn't have cable. So we got it like what felt like literally January 1st, 1989.
yeah,
So that's when I really started watching BET, because before that I would see it in flashes here and there. Like my uncle, my aunt and uncle, they had cable, but we didn't have cable in the TV downstairs when we were staying with them. We just had the regular channels. If you
right,
wanted to watch
right.
cable, you had to fight. You had to fight with my uncle, and he wasn't giving up that TV easily. You know.
But I did have a VCR.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got a VCR, but I would tape like Candy Shannon. I would music video connection. I would tape Heavy D and the Boys videos,
Yeah.
Finesse and Quest, and I would try to do the dance moves. Like boy, I was I'm trying to tell you, dancing man right here.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's what's up. Yeah.
the earlier days of BET, I want to say Keith Washington and Regina Bell, and
Mhm.
it was like ballad type people. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like a whole lot of up tempo stuff on BET.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, like when you get to, I mean, they had the up tempo stuff depending on which show you watch. Like you could
Yeah,
watch Video Soul, you could watch Video LP. I think Alvin Jones, I think that was his show. He might have did Video Vibrations too. Um, and it was a couple of shows that focused more on the up tempo stuff, whereas like say your Midnight Love was more like solely focused on ballads. But
yeah,
because ballads were heavy around that time, I say like
heavy.
the late 80s, early 90s, I mean, I felt like you couldn't be a successful R&B artist and not have a big ballad at
Yeah,
some point.
you didn't even need a fast song.
Right.
Like
Right.
what's my man? Gregory Abbott.
Gregory Abbott.
One song and went to the moon.
Right. Right. And that was it.
That was it. But that one song propelled him.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Or Lisa Fisher.
Yeah.
She didn't even really want to do like a follow-up album. All she had to do was basically put out How Can I Ease the Pain. Now granted, she had maybe another hit or two after that, but like that's the one that
Oh,
she's known for, you know.
really?
Yeah.
You don't
That's
think she's known for been around the world? Isn't that Lisa
uh
Fisher?
no, that's Lisa Stansfield.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
Lisa Fisher sang background for Luther Vandross for years.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
but she was Caucasian though, right?
She's black. Well,
Really?
Lisa Stansfield is white, but
Yeah.
Lisa Fisher is black.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I was mixing the two all this time.
The Lisas.
Right.
Yeah, but well, actually, Lisa Stansfield had multiple hits. She had a lot of them. She probably had a good little run for about, I'd say 5 to 7 years. You know, whereas Lisa Fisher, like, literally just put out one album and she was good from there. You know.
Yeah. I think when the show hit, Dougie Fresh the show,
Mm-hmm.
after that, like with R&B, like it started infusing hip hop with Teddy Riley, with
Yep.
Guy.
Yep.
Man, let me tell you, I ran that Guy album into the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not lying. Like nobody knew who that third nigga on the cover was.
Shout out to Timmy Gatlin.
Shout out to him. Like you can call me crazy. That's the only song that I know he sung on, like the lead.
Right, right. Exactly.
And I don't
Exactly.
think did he ever put out a project?
No, I don't think he did. Like I feel like if I'm not mistaken, he might have been involved with Basic Black when they came out.
Gene Griffin.
Yeah,
Should
yeah,
have
Gene
known.
Griffin, yeah.
The
Little knock,
gangster of R&B.
right. Little
Yo,
guy knock off real quick.
one day they're gonna do a movie about Gene Griffin if they
Yeah,
can,
they are. Yeah,
if
they
he
are.
was still alive. Like he was a real gangster
He was. He was. Yeah, you wasn't gonna get on his bad side.
at all. At
Yeah,
all.
man. Yeah, man. But yeah, that Guy album, like, it's funny. I was just having a conversation, I want to say last week, about that very album. And yeah, I ran it in the ground too. So my dad, he bought me and my brother 2 cassettes. So he bought me Guy, he bought my brother Bobby Brown. Don't Be
Okay.
Cruel. So all we did was swap tapes. You know, like I played my
Yeah.
tape out, then I played his tape out. He played his tape out, then he played my tape out. My tape is the only one that lasted. His, like, I think by the like maybe it started fading on the A side. Now the
Yeah.
B side was like the weakest side to me. And it was like that was the
And
side that played just fine.
here's the greatest moment. Like for a long time, Guy was the only record you could play the whole way through.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, for a long time, You talk about an album from front to back.
Yeah.
Guy was the only record that you could play every song and just let it play.
Every song. Every song. I didn't skip one song on that album when I played that joint.
Man,
Yeah. Yeah. Teddy was in his bag when he did that joint. For
Aaron,
real.
Aaron, Aaron Hall's best work.
Yes, absolutely. He has
Aaron
not
Hall's best work.
he has not done anything better since.
No, I have to agree with that.
Yeah. And he's had some, I mean, whether you're talking about uh later stuff with Guy or even some of his own stuff, but as a full body of work, he has not done anything better than that. I wholeheartedly agree.
And I mean, this might be controversial, but that might be Teddy's opus.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. It's very hard to beat.
Name something from Teddy, a whole project better than the Guy's first album.
It's joints that come close, but I wouldn't put it ahead. I definitely wouldn't put it ahead. I mean, you could argue. I mean, you could argue maybe the first one of the first two Blackstreet albums, maybe, but I wouldn't put it ahead of the Guy
Yeah.
album.
No.
I don't think he did the entire Dangerous album for Michael Jackson. I think there was some other production on there.
Dangerous don't even come close to Guy's first
No,
album.
it doesn't, because it's like you could tell like Mike had some influence on that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but there was just a certain pocket that first Guy album was just in that no other project that Teddy has done since has been in. Like front to back. Like I mean, it was a masterclass.
And you know, when you're successful, you get the people who try to recreate New Jack Swing.
Yep.
No knock to this guy, but was it Kyle West?
Yeah.
He had the girls.
Yeah.
Jam if you can.
Yeah, they threw him right in that little New Jack Swing bag, you know. Like, I mean, because even if you listen to a lot of the stuff he did with I'll Be Sure, it was very New Jack Swing, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. Iron told me, I don't know. He said Teddy was the first person to use the MPC for R&B with Jane Child.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yep. And that was his production on that, especially like the remix, because the one that's like on the album, it don't really slap.
No,
but his remix, my goodness, because that's the one I know. Like that other one, it's like I know they had it in the video and I know they had it on the album, but when I heard the remix, I was like, this is the one. Why isn't this on the album? That's what I used to get pissed off about back in the day, when they would put one version on the album, but then they would roll another version out on the radio, or they would roll another version out with the video, and it's like, okay, this is the one. Why isn't this on the album?
Right.
Like, how can I get this?
And then they'd release a single or something crazy.
A single, yes.
Like you're selling me a tape for the same price as a full tape, but it has two songs.
Right. That was the hustle. They force you to get in the record store and be like, okay, you could buy the single, but you could get the whole album.
Right. But that song ain't on it. So you got to buy both. Crazy how record labels used to do us.
Oh, yeah. The hustle. It was the hustle,
played
man.
In our face.
All day, man. I can't tell you how many times they got me like that, too. Because it's like, look, man, I want both. It's crazy, man. Yeah. But like, just even thinking about those times and having to access music that way, that is completely different than now, where it's like all you got to do if you got a subscription to something is just pull it up, or go to YouTube and just pull it up. But back in the day, we had to hunt for a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? So I mean, as somebody who's a connoisseur of like vinyl, specifically vinyl, like how do you feel like that shaped your appreciation for music differently than maybe say somebody coming up in this era?
2 words. Liner notes. I got to learn record labels. I got to learn who played guitar. I got to learn who played drums. I got to learn who their friends were in the shout outs. Um, the liner notes is almost like a autobiography of the album.
Mm,
Um, when I look at like Guy album, when you look at the Guy album and you see Teddy Riley plays all instruments, and you're
yeah.
like, what?
Right.
What? And I hadn't even got into sampling yet, but
Mm,
I knew that Groove Me was a sample. Didn't know what it was.
yeah.
And I was like, this guy is playing somebody else's record and playing on top of it.
Mm,
And
mhm.
I just thought that was just so extraordinary.
Yeah.
Um, but just touching vinyl and listening to it is an amazing experience. Hence the resurgence in people buying turntables and records now.
Yeah.
But when you go to a record store and you look at the cover and you turn it over and you look at the back, that's where the
Mm,
magic is.
yeah.
The magic is
Yeah.
on that back cover with the shout outs and some songs, some people even had, well, the lyrics were on the inside, but
Yeah.
when you see who did what on a record, uh I think you appreciate that person even more because I didn't know who these people were, but I chose to discover them.
Mhm.
Like I didn't know, I wouldn't have known Luther Vandross was a singer in Change until I looked on the back of the record.
Right. Right.
I mean you know the voice, but
Mhm.
and you look on the back, it's like, ah, you didn't know Anita Baker was the lead singer for the was it Rotary Connection?
Uh, I you know what? I'm trying to think. Rotary Connection might have been. I feel like that might have been Minnie Riperton.
Okay, yeah,
And
you're right,
then
you're right. But Anita Baker was
um,
in a group before she
yeah,
went
she was in
solo.
chapter 8.
Chapter 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them
Cause
smooth groove
yep,
CDs.
yep. That's it. Exactly. I have that Smooth Groove CD with that joint on it.
Yes.
Man, listen.
Listen, back in my single days, smooth groove
Yes,
CDs.
sir.
Oh, y'all don't know nothing about the smooth. I had smooth
Yes.
grooves 1 through 12.
Yeah. See, I got up to 8. I got up
They
to 8. And
they
then when
they
they
they, they
start doing like the 70s and the 80s ones and all of
I
that.
got those too, but they started
Yeah.
getting crazy when they had one with H Town on it. I was like, all right, y'all wilding
Yeah.
now.
They had to cater.
Yeah, pandering.
Right. All right, exactly. Man, but those smooth grooves was lifesavers,
Yes,
especially when it's
yes,
like, do I really feel like putting together a playlist today? You know what I'm saying? Making a mixtape. Like, oh, just
dog.
throwing a smooth groove joint.
Let me tell you, I would put together mixtapes for myself because I like slow songs. There was a song by an artist. I don't know if he had any other songs. His name was Lilo. He
Lilo
had a song
Thomas.
called "Wanna Make Love."
Yeah, Lilo Thomas. Yep.
I want to say 80, 88, 89. I was still a virgin at this time. I lost my virginity to Lilo Thomas "Wanna Make Love"
Ah!
to a girl from Baltimore of all places. When I was in the military. So shout out to Lilo. Wherever you
Man,
at, you did good. Turn me into a
shout out to
monster.
Lilo Thomas. Shout out to that
Man,
has to be maybe the best story on the series so far.
dog. Lilo, I had what was on? I had Lilo Thomas on there. I
Yeah.
might have had, when did Ralph Tresvant come? When did Sensitivity come out?
19, like right at the end of 1990.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
toward the end of 1990.
Yeah, it was around that time. Because I
Yeah.
think he was on the mixtape too.
Okay. Okay.
That was going crazy. Y'all want some Lilo? Y'all want me to put on some Lilo Thomas for y'all? So y'all can chill out.
Hey,
Hey, I never seen a video by this guy.
you
I
know,
don't even know
there
what
is
he
a
looks like.
he's like light skinned, Kind of got a porn
Hold on
stash.
one sec. Oh, you know what? I have seen him.
Yeah,
I have seen him.
yeah.
Yeah, a porn
Hmm.
stash. He kind of reminds me of the guy from the light skinned guy from After Seven a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit, yeah. He just got like the wavy hair and all of
Yep.
that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Yes. Like what's funny is he had a video for that. He actually had a video for that. Yeah, there's a video for that one. You
Uh,
got to go on YouTube to find it. It's like it's a midnight love clip.
but so it's grainy.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It's none of his videos gonna be like crystal clear at all. No, no. But yeah, it is funny because that was my introduction. No, actually, that wasn't my introduction to him. My introduction to Lilo was he had two songs from the same album that Wanna Make Love was on. I'm in Love and Sexy. Those were my actual introductions to Lilo Thomas. Was I'm in Love and Sexy Girl. Came out right
Mm.
around the same time. Like it was that same album. From the album came out 87, and then Wanna Make Love was like the last single from that album. And what's crazy is about him, he struggled to find footing for his first two albums, and then the last album, then all the hits came. But
Mm.
after that point, he was like, he just walked away from Capitol Records, like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And he got an ill story too, because he was actually like a world-class Olympian, like a track
What?
athlete. Yeah, like he almost ran track instead of singing, but he got into an accident in Brazil in '84, and that ended his track career. So he ended up,
Damn.
just singing. And what's funny is people often refer to him as Freddie Jackson's background singer, but I remember in an interview he was like, correction, he was my background singer first.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he was. That's actually the truth. He was Lilo Thomas's background, or one of his background singers first. So,
That's tight.
but Freddie had the bigger career.
I went to speaking of Freddie Jackson, I was on Spotify the other day, and I
Yeah.
went to Freddie Jackson's greatest hits.
Mm.
Freddie has some slaps.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I be
Just
trying to tell people this all the time.
dog. Freddie has some slaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was his first song with Melba Moore? Just a little bit more. Was that the first song?
Oh, yeah.
I love that
Yeah. That one
song.
right there.
I
Woo.
love that song, boy.
Woo. Yes. Yes.
Man, talking about these old songs, man, just makes you like think about the period your life was in at that time. Like there are certain songs that I listened to. Like I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, but there's certain songs that I listened to from the 80s that just make me tear up just a little bit. Like
Yeah.
what's the song? Kenny Loggins. Is it Kenny Loggins? No. Who sings It'll come to me. It'll come to
Okay.
me. But songs like Whitney Houston, You Give Good Love,
Mm-hmm.
those were times that I wanted to be in love, because you would see these videos and love looked great and
Yeah.
appealing.
Yeah.
There was no booty shaking, so everything
Mm-hmm.
was modest, and it just made you want to feel like you wanted to be in love. You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
physically being intimate, you just wanted to be in love with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful right there, because I mean that's a huge amount of the reason why I'm even doing this series in the first place, because it's really just like paying respect to that time of R&B soul music, where it's like they made songs, and specifically when you start bringing into it like the visual aspect of it, like not only
Mhm.
do you get to hear this song and these great written lyrics, and a lot of like greatly composed music at that time, but then you throw in the aspect of music videos that either give you a layer of your imagination that you weren't even expecting, or kind of sort of on point, and sometimes maybe even a disappointment. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you still got to physically see it in your face. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, what was the movie Against All Odds? Like
Mm.
that song makes me tear up.
Oh
'Cause if
yeah.
you listen to the words of that song, like
Hmm.
That is, I don't know if Phil Collins wrote that, but that is a beautiful song.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's probably, I think that's probably one of Phil Collins' best songs ever.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it holds up. I mean, he got a couple that holds up over time, but that
Oh
one
yeah,
right there, that's special. That's special, and it's one of those ones. Is so good, but I always forget about it because it's so many songs that get talked about of his. Almost some of them to death. You know what I'm saying? As much as I
yeah,
love In the Air Tonight, I mean,
yeah.
it's overdone at this point. But it's still a song that for me is nostalgic because I always think about my dad. But against all odds, though, I mean, he put
How
his
could you
foot in.
just turn and walk away from me?
Right.
Ooh,
Man, man.
boy, them
Yeah.
breakup songs or something else back then.
You ain't never lied. It's
Them
like I don't
breakup.
want to feel that.
Oh man, I'm this white dude is gonna come to me, man. But he
Yeah.
he he kind of reminds me of Kenny Loggins, but I don't think it's who's the dude. You know who I'm talking about. He has album cover with long hair.
Hmm.
White guy kind of reminds you of Kenny Loggins, white artist.
What like around what time was he popping?
80s,
Like early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s?
late 80s.
Michael Bolton?
No,
Okay.
um, man,
Cause he the main like long hair white dude I think about when it comes to
yeah, it'll come to me. But
yeah.
I want to go back to his song because his song, the song that I'm thinking about is a breakup song,
Hmm.
but it's written so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like it's a breakup song that makes you want to be in love, if that makes
Mm,
any sense.
it does. It does. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna come to you. This is when it's gonna come to you after we stop recording.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then I had to put like a little thing like, oh, this was the song that this is the song Gadget was talking about. It always like I can't tell you how many times that happened to me. You know what I mean? But
Man.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. And I think I was kind of going in that direction, but the intersectionality of pop and R&B at that time, especially because of the absence of like now I just feel like it's a lot of black music out there and a lot of black owned radio stations out there now. But back in the 80s, like I was listening to KYS just as much I was listening to whatever the soft rock station at that time was.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it was
Yeah.
94.7 at that time.
Yeah, Duran,
Yeah.
Foreigner, Toto,
Hmm.
like all those
Yes.
guys.
Yeah. The Cars, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
Like it was
Robert Plant.
yep.
What,
Yep.
what, what was my man? Robert Palmer.
Yep. Robert Palmer, little Christopher Cross in there.
Listen, man, Christopher Cross, man. Black people love Christopher Cross, boy.
Oh yeah.
Sailing, take me away.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh no,
sir.
you don't like it?
Yeah. Don't hate on my man singing.
Right, right.
Yeah, man. It was a lot of dope artists out that time. Of course, Hall and Oates. You know what I'm saying? Can't forget Hall and Oates.
Yeah,
But it's like it was a lot of solid like artists like on the crossover side, so to say, at that time that it made you appreciate kind of sort of when you went back to the R&B, like, okay, we got a little something over here, we got a little something over here,
hmm,
and a little bit of everything in between. But that was the beauty of the 80s, though. Like you could get a little bit of everything and appreciate so many different flavors
right.
of music in the 80s. Probably, I don't know if I would say more than any other time in music, but I think because there was a lot of almost like gumbo of kind of throwing everything in the pot. And because you
Yeah,
didn't have a whole lot of choices or stations where you could get the choices that you want, you kind of, in a certain way, was stuck with what you was hearing. But it's not like it was bad. It was like, okay, this is good. I like this. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But once you started getting more what you like, it was like, okay, this
Uh,
is my bag right here.
I remember the song.
Okay.
Who sings "This Is It"?
Oh, Huey
This
Lewis
is
in the
it.
news.
No, that's not Huey Lewis. This is it. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, that one. That one. Oh, I don't know who sings that. I've never known who sings it, but I know exactly what
but
who you're talking about.
that's a it's a breakup song.
It is.
If you listen to the words, it's a breakup song.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hold on, man. This is gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah.
This
I've never known who sang that.
you know the artist.
I know. As soon as you gonna say it,
Oh,
I'm gonna
Kenny
know.
Loggins. It is Kenny
It
Loggins.
is. Oh, you were right.
Yeah,
Wow. Kenny Loggins got so many songs that I didn't realize was Kenny Loggins. I'm like, that's Kenny
yeah.
Loggins?
Because people
Like,
always contribute him to Footloose and
and Danger
like,
Zone.
yeah, those not even
Mhm.
his best songs to me.
No, they're not. They're not. They're not, you
This
know.
is it is top tier.
Oh yeah. I love that song.
Like
Love that song.
I like to know what these writers were going through when they wrote these songs.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I was on a like I happened to be looking at a lyric site, a
Mhm.
lyric video on YouTube for that song, and I was like, this is halfway a breakup song that's a love song intertwined. And
Yeah.
but uh like when that song actually makes me cry. Like I
Mm.
cry when I hear that song because
Wow.
um I think it was my last year in high school. I was a virgin. Uh like I was getting nothing. Nothing was coming my way. And like sometimes like back then I just wanted to listen to a song to be more depressed.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It does. I think it'll make sense to a lot of people.
Yeah, like that song and there was another song that I would just play on repeat that would just I don't know, it would just take me out. But
Yeah.
that Kenny Loggins song, man, that would I don't hear it a lot. Like I really have to go to Spotify to
Mhm.
but if I'm in the car by myself,
Yeah.
I will tear up when that song comes on.
Yeah, it's that's a good one though. And it's one, like you said, you have to kind of sort of go to streaming sites a lot of times to hear it, because it's like I hear it, but I don't hear it enough. I don't
Right.
feel like I hear it as much as I should, considering that was actually one of his best hits. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right. And then when did this movie was my life. Last American Virgin.
Oh wow. Wow.
The James Ingram at the end.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
dog, that's another song that brings me to tears because that
Yeah.
movie was my life. I was
Yeah.
uncoordinated. I was what people call socially inept back then.
Yeah.
Maybe I was super shy back then.
Yeah.
I was super shy. Um, like the girls just wasn't into me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with being a teenager and being a virgin back then was like that was a no-no. Like you had
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like even if she was ugly, you gotta say you could have something. So I was dry as a bone, bro.
Don't feel bad, bro. I was the same way. Same way. Like
Oh
I
man.
almost, it's crazy. I almost made it out of college. Dry as a bone.
I don't know how you
It, it was that serious for me.
yeah. So yeah, at 21, Lilo Thomas for the win. Yeah.
Lilo, Peebo, Blue Rose, Teddy Pendergrass. Ah,
Yeah, but
Lilo.
songs that make you I don't know what like being depressed and listening to sad songs to make you more depressed is really a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
especially back then.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they will really have you in the doldrums.
Dog in shambles.
Yes.
Like at the end of that movie when Luther Vandross, when James Ingram is singing, like
Yeah.
you feel so bad for the guy. Do you remember the ending of the movie?
Barely. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Like
Forever.
the girl pretends that she likes him, and then at the end of the movie, he thinks he's gonna, sleep with her, and then
Yeah.
it's all a cruel joke. and
Yeah.
then he just walks out the party and gets in his little pizza delivery car.
I remember, yeah, I remember. Oh man, this is now coming
Man,
back to me like it was yesterday. Wow,
what was that
wow.
James Ingram song? Uh, come on, Spotify. And that's James Ingram's best song to me. Besides,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
just
has.
once.
Yes, just oh my goodness.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just once brings me to tears.
That's my favorite James Ingram song. My favorite one.
If you go
Yeah.
to Spotify, listen to the original because he re-recorded it. It's not the same.
No, no.
Listen to the listen to the original. But
Yeah,
I dog,
yeah.
I think I want to hunt for Last American Version and just watch that movie again. Just to remind myself of how bad I had it in high school.
You might not be the only one, brother.
Uh,
In fact, I'm here to tell you, you're not the only one. You
okay,
know.
thank God. So, like, what when back then, what were you listening to get you through the girl issues?
Ooh, that's good. Who was I listening to? A lot of Luther. It was a lot of Luther.
Mhm.
Um, kind of like Alexander O'Neal was in there. Freddie Jackson was in there. Um, who else was I really listening to at that awkward phase? Kind of, sort of. Well, not really. I was more like still kind of like in that late '80s bag
Mhm.
of like R&B. Like After Seven, I could throw in there. Um, New Edition. Um,
Oh, can you stand the rain? Oh
yes, and that's
boy,
literally the song I was thinking of.
or Boys to Men.
Hmm.
The song Boys to Men.
Oh yeah,
Grow
yes,
Growing up
yes,
can be a pain.
yeah,
Oh, that
yeah.
hits.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
That hits.
yeah, yeah. It hit me a lot because it was like it was that awkward period for me. Like how you were saying, like you felt like you were socially inept in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. Like I just felt like I could not finding my tribe took a while. And
Yes.
also like that whole thing of navigating the whole thing with girls. Like that was, I think today people think it's easy for me. I'm like, I wish that y'all saw me in elementary school and junior high, because it was not. Like I never forget, and I tell this story all the time. I never forget when I first got to Jefferson, um, 7th grade. I walked past this table of girls, and when I say it's like they said it in unison, it's almost like they practiced it. Like I walked past the table and they all said at the same time, "Ugh." I was like, "What y'all talking about?"
Dog.
And then I realized they all looking at me, and I'm like, "Oh wow, this how junior high gonna go? Oh, okay, all right."
Oh,
So
that's the worst way. And in high school, it's even worse because it's amplified.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
when a girl is like, "Ooh, you ugly," like, and
Hmm.
everybody know.
Man,
Dog.
yeah, yeah. What's funny, I didn't go through that in high school. I like high school was actually easy for me. Like it got easier from high school on, but elementary school, junior high, forget about it. I was the ugly duckling.
Dog. I I wasn't called ugly, but I wasn't getting no play.
I've been called ugly and I wasn't getting no play. It was bad, bro. It's bad.
Man,
Yeah, man. It's hard out here for some of us, man. When
it
we was younger.
it really, and you know what? Music kept me sane.
Yes, yes, yes.
That damn Walkman, I could just
Mm-hmm.
escape.
Yeah,
I could just
yeah,
escape everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up and used the word escape, because when I just wanted to tune out anything that was going on in the world, like I just throw on that Walkman. It's like I got problems. Oh, okay.
I
Boop.
do it now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do it now.
yeah, yeah. Like it's comforting. it takes you back to a certain place. Whether you have a Walkman still, I still have a Walkman. Only the radio on it works though. But I still have one. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so funny because I found it years ago, and I was so psyched when I found it. I was like, "Oh snap! I got a Walkman. I'm about to listen to this joint." I have all of these tapes that I still have in like my little studio or whatever. So I popped in one of the tapes. I was like, "Oh man, I get to listen to my old beat tapes now." Literally a day later, that joint stopped playing. I was crestfallen because it was my favorite Walkman I ever owned. It was an AWA Walkman.
You should have known, bro.
Yeah, yeah, right. That was my first time.
What wasn't that the Kmart discount brand, or where did AWA come from?
Well, no.
Zayre's?
They were actually one of the better ones. Like, now they wasn't Sony or
Yeah, I
maybe.
was.
Yeah, like Sony was just like you teased me, like rich, like having the cable at a certain time. Like that's how I looked at people who had Sony Walkmans. I was like, I ain't quite there.
AWA. Yeah.
They was like a slight tear down from Sony,
You
but
got
they
your joint
weren't.
from Sam Goody. The AWA joints.
Yeah, I probably got a couple of them from Sam Goody.
Forestville Mall. Shout out to y'all.
Yes, sir.
And all my money there.
Tell me about it. Yeah,
And
Sam Goody.
they changed it to
Overpriced.
coconuts or pandas or something stupid. And
I think it was coconuts. Yeah.
Like, y'all wilding. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
$21 for a CD.
It's crazy.
Yo, what's crazy? When I got out the military and I came back home, I worked for Cox Cable. They fired me for hitting a pole. Like I just scraped the paint off. They fired me for not reporting it. But
wow.
I went to go work at, and this was so pivotal, and this is important. I went to go work at Tower Records.
Oh, which one?
I worked at all of them. I worked at the one in DC. I worked at the one in Fairfax.
Wait, when did you work at the one in DC?
I want to say 95 when Raheem was leaving. Raheem worked there.
Oh,
but
wow.
he was on the way out.
Wait, so funny story. You were working there when I was going to Walls. Like I was still in high school. Like that was like around the time my first year at Walls. Mm-hmm. So that's crazy that I didn't even know Raheem worked there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Like we were always in that Tower Records, always.
And I mainly worked at the other end. You know, it had two. One was the music and one had the video.
Was the video, yeah.
But were you one of the kids that had to kick out for being in the porn section?
No, never. I was always in the music section. Okay. I ain't even bothered with the video side of it.
But Tower Records was pivotal. Like the DC location, the Duke Street location. I even think I went to work at the Annapolis when they needed help in Fairfax, like as needed.
Yeah.
But it was so magical to work in a record store helping people find the music that they're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I'll never forget when, I don't know, was it DMX? Somebody's CD was coming out and the line wrapped around the building.
Wow.
I was, of course, we had to set a couple CDs to the side for us, but dog, and this is when listening stations were popular. You would just you didn't have to buy the whole CD anymore, but you did if you wanted that song.
Yes, exactly.
But Tower's return policy was so lax. You could open a CD, and this was burners had come out.
Yep.
You could burn a CD and return it.
Yep. We went through that all the time because I worked at Tower Records. This was 03, like end of 03 into 04. DC, right on Pennsylvania Avenue. Yep. In fact, I was working there. Do you know Kim Aldridge?
Glasses?
No, she's so she's a singer. In fact, who does she sung on records for? She sang on one of my records, but I'm trying to think who else has she done stuff with. I know she did something. She might have did something with YU at one point. Um, I feel like she sang with somebody else. But at any rate, we went the walls together. She was like a year ahead of me, and she was working there when I was working there. But she worked at the video end. I worked at the music end.
Oh, I know you. Okay, okay. I do know
Yeah.
Kim. We're mutual friends. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We know so many people in common. You know what I'm saying? So
Did you know Nikisha?
yeah. Yeah. She was the same year, I think, as Kim. They were same year.
Then you were there when I was there.
Wait, you what at Walls?
Oh no. I'm sorry, at Tower.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I just used to go through Tower all the time. I was
Okay,
always like,
okay,
when you were working there, I was just always like there. You know what
okay.
I'm
You're a
saying?
high schooler coming through.
Right, exactly. I was still in
Okay,
high school. So I didn't start working there until like December of '03. So,
okay.
which is funny because my brother, he worked there first. He was working there summer of '01.
Who is your brother?
So my brother, his name is Mike. Same last name, Mike Goings.
Was he
But
security?
no, he worked. I want to say, did he work in the video? I think he worked on the video end, if I'm not mistaken. Either the video end or the music end. I forget which one end he worked. But he's younger than me. He's 4 years younger than me. So
How did
when
you miss
he,
Raheem? Because I want to say, when did Raheem? Raheem was there. Hold on. When did Tabby Bonet come out with put it in the pocket?
I feel like that was like 08, 05 or '06 when Put in the Pocket came out.
Yeah, because I was there at that time.
You were still there?
Yes.
Wait, maybe we did run into each other. Now that would be crazy. All this time we known each other and we was right there.
Um, Dennis was the security guy at the record store. Tall Dennis.
I think I remember Dennis. Yeah, I think I remember him if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, I was there '03 to '04. I left October '04.
Okay.
Um, and I'm trying to think. So I think I remember Joe. It was another guy named Joe. He was like a little heavier set guy. I think he worked. I think he worked at the video end because I was cool with quite a few people at the video end. Because of Kim.
Mhm.
But I didn't really go to the video end mainly because like I was in receiving. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so we was pretty much doing everything.
So
Like,
I was coming in at night. So I probably
oh, okay.
missed you all because I was a closer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And usually I was out of there probably like most days like 7 to 8.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I never
Yeah.
saw you.
Yeah. That's that. Well, then that explains it. Now I don't feel bad.
Yeah. But
But that's crazy.
speaking of Tower taught me how consignment worked
Mm-hmm.
because Lettucey, before she had a deal, Lettucey would do consignment with Tower Records.
Yep. Yep.
And let me tell you, Lettucey sold so many CDs through Tower Records through consignment.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Nikisha used to run consignments, and I would just look at her sheets, and I'm like, she sold how many this month?
Yeah.
And we got to order how many CDs from her independently?
Mm-hmm.
Tabby Bonet sold what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Raheem and Crossroads sold what?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was an amazing time for independent music to see your CD next to major labels,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially if you were from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you were from here. Now I know Lettucey is from Oakland, I think,
I think you're right.
but I mean, she was killing it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, Lettucey was absolutely killing it when she was independent doing consignment with Tower. And if you ever get the chance to interview her, like, I hope you ask her about her. She probably packed up her own CDs and mailed them to Tower.
Yeah. 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 Please put that in the atmosphere. Interview Lettucey.
No,
I would
you know
love
what?
to.
Clip this up and put it on Instagram and tag her.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Oh my goodness, I would love it. Would love it because I've been. And the thing is, what makes that make sense is if you think about really her fan base, like especially here, we like soulful live instrumentation type of music,
yep,
and we love our singers singing. And Lettucey checks all of those boxes. You know what I'm saying? Like she would fit in perfectly if she were from here. But then
yeah,
again, like her being like it. I've never necessarily known where she's from, but if she's from Oakland, like you say, that also makes sense because I feel like a lot of times we here in the DMV we love Cali artists. You know what I mean? Like we don't always talk about it, but like we like that type of sound because it feels a certain way. It feels good, you know what I mean? And like a lot of her music is like that nice soulful sound and just her voice is just so I mean just oh my goodness. Like that's what we like here. So, but then it also tying in the whole HUR component. I mean, that's really the first place I heard her was HUR.
absolutely. Yes.
And once I heard, I only needed one time to hear her sing. I was like, oh, who is this? Yeah, I need all parts of whatever she's doing. And I'm sure that you multiply that times thousands. And that's why she probably did so well in consignment, and especially being at the independent level at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was man, shout out to Tower Records, man.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all were good to me.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I can wear what I want. I can listen to my
Yeah.
music, you know.
Damn yellow bags with the handle.
Right,
Man,
right.
you can't get them, man.
Right,
You know how many
man.
records you gotta put in there before the handle starts?
Those some strong bags right there. I
Yeah.
just wanted a bunch of the bags.
Man, then they started getting cheap and just have whole just big plastic bags without the
Right.
red handles.
Yeah, it's like who wants that?
Yeah.
Like I came for the handles.
You go down there now, man. It's a CVS and
Mm-hmm.
a restaurant at the other end. It's like, man,
Yeah, it's not the same.
this is magic right here.
Yeah, yeah, man. I
Yeah,
spent some
I'm getting teary-eyed right now, man. Thinking about my time at Star Records.
Man, I spent so much money in that place as a
As
consumer
an
and as an
employee,
employee.
yes.
It's both. Cause I was working in there, and it's so funny that you mentioned the DMX or whatever album it was that had people wrapped around a corner. Now, granted, we didn't necessarily have people wrapped around a corner for this album, but we couldn't keep this album stocked enough, and that's Usher Confessions. Like that album when it came out, I mean, when I say it every time we got a box or a bunch of boxes, and I mean they sent us. I can't tell you how many of them joints I had to price and scan and all. I was like, oh my gosh, if we get another damn confessions.
Listen,
But we kept
Confessions
selling them.
Confessions and Lauryn Hill was like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Could not keep Lauryn Hill in the store.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to Sam Goody and got my copy of Lauryn Hill. And I pre-ordered it because I already knew what it was about to be about. It was like, well, you can pre-order this album. I was like, please do. Because I already know what the line is going to be. I already know it's going to be sold out for weeks. I want my copy now. And I still have that same copy to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I already know how that joint went like hotcakes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, man.
I think like my days at Tower, like when we go back to R&B, I think about groups like Intro,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
To the Extreme,
Yeah.
Shy,
Yeah.
like those groups and songs they made, remind me of my Tower days.
Mhm. Yeah.
Especially Shy, man. I have a confession. I hated that acapella song, and I hated that song. Cause I'm a music instrumentalist guy. Like,
Yeah.
dude, don't acapella me to death, bro. And I eventually got over it, but I hate it. And it didn't help that they played it every day, all day.
Yeah. Yeah, they ran it in the ground.
They
They
ran
ran
that
it.
song into the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. They really did. And what's funny is one of my homies from it was funny, he's from Philly. he put up a thing saying, which version of If I Ever Fall in Love, the acapella or the regular or the one with music? And everybody said acapella.
Right.
And what's funny, I got so tired of the acapella that when they came out with a version with the music, I was like, oh, okay, one version that I'm not going to get as tired of because they always playing the acapella one.
And
But now that
by
I'm,
that time, I got tired of the entire song.
yeah, yeah,
That song was maybe out for a year. Like they were playing it like
yes,
for a year.
yeah, yeah, a long time before
Like
they even had an album.
they treated that song like Rob Bass It Takes Two. Rob Bass It Takes Two was I swear to God, like I was
Yeah,
still living in Philly and moved to DC and they were still playing Rob Bass It Takes Two. Like it was
wow,
brand new.
yeah, yeah, that's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, but you know,
The days, man.
yeah, they were. They were. That's why I was glad when they started coming out with like other singles. Like when they came out with Comforter, I was like, yes, a song that isn't If I Ever Fall in Love. Yeah, man. But man, I mean, you could just wrap it up here, but it's like it's some other stuff that I still want to
Oh,
talk about.
yeah.
I mean, this conversation's been like, man,
You gotta have me on again, bro. Like
yeah,
we gotta do
yeah,
this again. But yeah,
absolutely,
because
man.
I would love to talk about Men at Work.
Oh, wow, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
all the R&B remixes back then.
Hmm.
What's my man? Cozell. She's all I
Oh
got.
yeah, Jimmy Cozier.
Jim, Jimmy Cozell.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That
Yep.
90s hit. We didn't even get to the 90s, bro.
Right. Ain't even touched
We didn't even get to
it. It's so much good music out there, man. And it's like, I mean, you done hit so many pockets. It's like, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So of course I gotta focus it just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, this has been a great conversation so far. But man, so you being able, because I feel like already I'm getting that you could like dig in your bag and like find a song that fits this particular type of moment or type of mood or whatever. So, of course, this particular part of the series is
Mhm.
focused on resilient love. You know what I'm saying? Love that can overcome pretty much anything, you know.
Okay.
And for you growing up, and it could be any era, it don't matter whether it's 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. Um, what's a song that you think of that makes you think like resilient love, like that's the type of love that you wanted?
Uh, One song that comes to mind is Regina Belle, "Make It Like It Was."
Mm,
Um, because
that's a good one.
she's a woman uh, wanting her man to make it like it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that song just reminds me of uh when your mom and dad have an argument and then they're kissing in like an hour later,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
you're with your significant other. Like um I think having resiliency in a relationship, in any relationship, whether you're married, girlfriend, I think that's what holds you together. Like it's not easy to separate you.
Yeah. Yeah. That
So yeah,
is, man.
I'm gonna stick with my girl Regina Belle, even though her marriage to Charles Oakley didn't wasn't that
What?
resilient. But no shots, no shot. And I was in love with Regina Belle back then, boy.
Me too. Me too.
Woo,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
man.
Yeah, yeah, she was a smoker for
Yep.
sure. And
Yep.
and then
Still
she had the
is.
nerve to have that. Yeah, she still is, and
Still
she had
is.
the nerve to have that voice too. On top of it, it's like, come on, that's just
Uh,
cheat code on top of cheat code.
Man,
You know.
I saw album cover the other day. Free to Pain. That's for the
Mm.
next episode. We not even
Yeah.
gonna just Google Free to Pain album
Yes,
covers.
sir. Yes,
Woo!
sir. Yes. Yes.
Boy,
So,
this ain't no Nancy Wilson album cover,
dude.
boy. No, no, no. No, sir. This ain't no Della Reese album cover. Shout out to Free the Pain, boy.
That is factually correct. Cause I'm picturing all of that. And I'm like, man, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it spot on, bro.
Yeah, Nancy Wilson was as conservative as can be. Shout out to her though.
Yes. Big shout out. Cause I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? The salt and pepper thing, you know, like when she got older, I was like, dang, Nancy Wilson kind of fine, you know what I'm saying? But she ain't Free the Pain though.
Nobody. Nobody.
Man, but that's a great choice right there. That's a great see. This is exactly why you are here, because you just came up with it just like that. I'm like, yeah, that is a great one. That's a great one, and probably one of my favorite Regina Belle songs. Period. Because you feel, you feel the emotion in that song. You feel the sincerity in that song. Like, look, can we get back to this?
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to think of. I mean, you can think of a lot. But that might be one of the most perfect, resilient songs, love songs out there, you know? Like that. And you don't hear enough people give Regina Belle her flowers, in my opinion. Like, those of us who love R&B, you know what I'm saying? Like, you going to hear Regina Belle's name come up, but I just feel like she just does not get enough of it.
It's not frequent enough.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, when I say she shaped probably that period that I'm talking about, like, or really that inspired this whole project that I'm doing, like that period that she was hot, that she was the one for me, or she was one of the one, like her, Karen White, you know what I'm saying? Like people like them. Woo. Yeah. That's another one that you could throw into the resilient conversation. You know what I mean? Like, look, I'm here for you, but it's like, look, I can't be what you want me to be. You know, but
what was the lady? She reminds me of Karen White. Full Force wrote the song for her.
Cheryl Pepsi Riley. Yeah.
What was it? Thanks for My Child, or
yes.
Man.
Yeah. She was one that got slept on a lot, because I just don't feel like she ever got the material that she needed, other than Thanks for My Child, to really like catapult her into like that next tier of singers, because she had the voice for sure. You know, but I just never felt like she had it.
We could do 5 hours of artists that never got their just due.
Tell me about her. Well, one of them, you know, helped you out in your time of need. Lilo, you know.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, like I keep saying, I'm like, I want an unsung on Lilo Thomas, because it's like people don't even realize just how much that he contributed to, like, thinking about stuff that he did with like he's actually singing background on a bunch of Whitney Houston records. People don't even realize.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like he said, well, no, I don't know if it was Whitney Houston. He actually sang with Whitney Houston as a background on a Kashif song. So Are You the Woman? So you might hear Whitney Houston's voice on it, but then Lilo singing background as well on that song.
Man, Whitney Houston had no ego. She was saying background for anybody.
She wanted to go on tour and sing background for BB and CeCe Winans.
She had no ego whatsoever.
Yeah, like the most egoless superstar probably ever.
That was better than well, you know, I ain't gonna say that, but
I feel like I know which way you going, and it's cool, because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But you gotta love it. Yeah, but you gotta love it though. Like that's those. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm such a Whitney Houston fan, because it's not just of her as the singer, it's of her as the person that allows the space for other people to shine. You know, in fact, I was literally just talking to my wife about this maybe last night or the night before, because I think about when she did the song with Deborah Cox, same script, different cast. When she did Heartbreak Hotel with Faith Evans and Kelly Price, she was cool with not being the person that's like singing the house down.
Right.
because on both of those songs, she's not even the strongest singer on the song.
She's
Like,
so tame on those records.
yeah, yeah. And she's cool with letting the other person shine, without feeling like you're taking away from my star. Like, I mean,
Right.
Whitney Houston's, she was a star.
Right.
So there was no way you were going to be able to take away from her star, no matter how well you sang on the record. I mean, you on the same record with Mariah Carey. And like, you're okay with being on the same record with Mariah Carey. Like, what other superstars can you think of that could do that and be fine with that and be perfectly fine in what you do as an artist, as a singer, knowing that you're one of the most highly touted singers in the world?
Right.
Like, that's my kind of singer. That's my kind of like talent. That's my kind of person who's okay with sharing the spotlight, sharing the stage.
Right.
Yeah.
What singers have you met in person?
Let's see.
From the conversation that we're talking about.
Now from this conversation, I'm trying to think. Connected to Tower Records.
I got one connected to Tower Records too. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I met Aaliyah in person.
Really?
Yeah, like when I tell you
In person, she was beautiful.
Oh my goodness, one of the most beautiful spirits I have ever come across in my entire life. Like, I mean, and she was.
What album was this?
This was the One in a Million album. This is a One in a Million album. She was doing an in-store in Tower.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's doing an in-store. Now that line was out the door. I remember that because we had to wait for a minute. This might have been during our lunch hour. Man, listen, they gave me the poster. Like, she said hi. I was like, I was darn near about to melt right in front of her. I was like, hey, how you doing?
Aaliyah
Ooh.
is fine.
Yes. That's next level beauty right there. Like, she was glowing. I never seen anybody like that in my entire life, and not since, you know what I'm saying, other than my wife, of course.
Right. Throw that in there.
Of course.
She's gonna watch this. I met Candy Stanton at Tower.
Really?
Beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Oh, again, one of her songs that makes me cry, Young Hearts Run Free.
Yes.
Dog.
Yeah.
That song is about not getting the person that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a woman not getting but I would flip-flop in my mind.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Did you see her unsung?
No.
Yeah, her unsung was really, really good. And they talked about that particular aspect of the song, how it's a breakup song or it's a sad song.
Yeah.
But because it's set so well to that like disco beat and like how she's singing it and interpreting the lyrics, it's like you don't even feel like it's a breakup song for real, or a sad song. Like,
but when you listen to the words, it's like,
oh yeah,
you're chasing somebody who doesn't want to be with you.
Right. Yeah.
That song is heartbreaking, but
I
love
really
that song.
Like
I said,
great.
I love being depressed sometimes. it's weird, America. I know.
But it's like you get such great emotions out of those sad songs. Like, people really put it all on the table when it comes to a sad song. You know what I mean? Like, it's people. What's funny is that people would say for years that Sade had like that depressing, make you want to slit your wrist music. No. And it's like, but she don't have that many sad songs for real. Like, a lot of her songs are like, I think because of the way she sings, it's almost like a melancholy type of tone. But she might not necessarily be singing about something sad.
And I would like to say, who knows the Sade song word for word? Oh, like you might know the hook. Like, I know the melody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not saying Sade word for word.
That is a very good point. Maybe at one time, Your Love Is King, I could have sang word for word. Maybe at one time I could have sang Sweetest Taboo word for word. And sometimes I like to think I can sing Love Is Stronger Than Pride word for word. Maybe. maybe. But a lot of her other songs now I'm thinking about, I'm like, dang, I don't think I do know those word for word.
But you get real loud on the hook, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. that hook is it.
Yeah, so she might have been singing about some depressive stuff, but we never knew until the hook comes in.
Right, right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny.
And back then you know, of course there's always been, sex in songs, but in the song it was so hidden.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
didn't teenage mind, I was in La La Land,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know what Lou Rawls was talking about, leaving this chick you'll never find.
Right.
Like, "Hey, come back, lady."
Oh
You
man.
don't know what, like, when you get older and you start listening to the words,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You realize like, oh, that's what they're singing about. Oh, okay.
listen, you know who's the king of this? The Donnell Jones,
Yep.
another guy who had a CD front to back.
Oh
W
yeah.
Yo,
Yeah. Yeah.
he talked
Yeah.
about loving a chick and leaving her for another girl in the same song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bruh,
And that is so smooth.
so smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. Pick your smoothest drink you possibly can find. That's what that song was.
There's a lot of lust inside of me. Bro,
Yeah. Right. Right.
been together since our teenage years. Bro, he don't want you, but he don't want you with nobody else.
Right.
Donnell, make up your mind.
Right.
Yo, clip this up and send it to him. What was going through his brain when he wrote this song?
Right. Right. Like, I mean, look, it's a masterclass in a lot of ways when you can write a song in a way that you kind of sort of give them a little it was a football term I was about to come up, like a misdirection. You hit them with a little misdirection play. You think you're gonna go this way, you going this way, but they still over there.
Yeah.
Or a skinny bootleg or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But he was the king of that. He was. But
Yeah.
that Where I Want to Be album,
Dog.
bro.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
Arista, y'all had something with that.
Yes.
They released
Yes.
every song as a single.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was going to record pool meetings, shout out to Eardrum, and they damn near released every song as a single. Of
Yeah.
course, You Know What's Up was
Yeah.
the main song, but the mid tempo and slow songs were equally as good to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's interesting about that album? So I was working at our college station at that time, and the first single that we got before the album even came out was "Shorty Got Her Eyes on Me."
Mhm.
And so, like when I first heard that, I was like, because it felt different than his first album. And so you hear
Yeah.
that, it's like, oh, this is smooth. I'm like, okay, Donnell Jones, all right, I hear you. I'm like, is this how the rest of this album gonna sound? Okay. Then you get the album, it's like, bruh.
Listen, that album is his Confessions album.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. And depending on who you might ask, you could easily put them up against one another, and it's like, which
It's gonna be
which way you
tough.
going?
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to lean more towards Donnell Jones because he's more my age bracket.
I can feel you on that. Yeah, yeah. I probably would lean towards Donnell Jones too, because it's like, I think Confessions, as much as I love Confessions, and I think it's one of the best like R&B albums of like the 2000s. Like that Where I Want to Be album, when you talk about an album that kind of sort of got me through a time,
Mhm.
my junior year of college it was this weird period for me, because it was like I wasn't living around like my people.
Right,
So
right.
like I felt like on an island unto myself. People had to kind of sort of come see me in this suite, like kind of tucked on a hill on our college campus. And I just felt like separated away from everybody. So like when you talk about a time when music was key for me, like that album got me through a lot, probably more than any other R&B album at that time. You
And
know.
like at my age, when Usher did Confessions, there were things that he sung on in the album that I didn't relate to. but I
Mm.
related to songs on Where I Want to Be.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the confusion of, you love this woman, but you can't commit. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that Donnell. Yo, if y'all don't have that Donnell Jones album, boy, whew,
we gonna have to call your R&B card into question.
yes, absolutely,
we gonna have to
absolutely,
re-examine it. Like, hey, you gonna get some points on this one.
yeah.
Points on your license.
And I mean that was a time where there wasn't 10 songwriters on one song.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like
Might have been
he
one or
was
two.
right. Yeah. Cause I mean it was him. I know I think he was doing stuff with Eddie F, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So I mean it wasn't a lot of people in the room when it came to that, you
right.
know. And I think that's what also made him dope because it's like, he had a nice voice, but he was a hell of a songwriter. Hell of a songwriter. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
some people overlook the fact that Get It Together by 702, that's him.
Is it?
And yeah, that's him. Like you could even tell on the
Wow.
production because if you listen to the production on that and listen to the production on anything on his first album, it's almost like he could have easily sang that song himself,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But yeah, he did that, and it was some other people he wrote songs for, but that's probably one of the most notable ones that he wrote for somebody else and like became a hit, you know.
And
But
you could probably compare his first album to Usher's album. It's almost the same
mm-hmm,
trajectory.
mm-hmm, yep, yep, yep,
Trying to see who you are musically.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Usher's first album, people sleep on it. And for me, I love that album. That's another album I ran into the ground, even though it wasn't on the level of Confessions, but it was still a solid album.
Right.
But like, yeah, he was finding himself at that time. Like he was working with, like he had Devontae on a song, like he had Albie Shore, I think, was on a song in terms of production and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
Writing.
like you had all these people that's kind of in the room and it's like still trying to find your footing. But then when he got to the My Way album, it's like that's when it started clicking. Then when he got to 8701, it started clicking even more. So by the time he got to Confessions, it was like, he took off because it was already the trajectory was already going upward because he
Yeah.
started finding his voice more. And the same thing with
Yeah.
Donnell Jones. Like from that first Donnell Jones album to the second one, it was quicker.
And it's totally different.
Yeah, yeah, it's completely different. So yeah, man, that's I mean, we so many great R&B albums, man. Yeah, we
Man,
would literally be here all night.
forever. Forever.
For
Never
real,
invite a
man.
music guy to your podcast if you gotta work in the morning.
Man, listen, unless that is your job.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. But I guess one of the last things that I will ask you before we wrap it up, because I mean, of course, like this is a conversation about love, romance, and R&B.
Mhm.
Being somebody, I mean, you've talked about relationships you've been in. You are also married as
Yes,
well.
I am.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm pretty sure that you have been through some moments that have tested, the strength of your relationship,
Absolutely.
as all married couples have been through. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm definitely no different. So, what are in terms how do I want to ask this question? What has resilient love look like in your marriage?
Uh uh Wanting it to work,
Mm,
not wanting it to fail,
mm,
you know? Um not to live up to anybody else's standards but our standards. And like just uh being in love.
mm.
I mean, honestly, is is nothing super secret about it. It's like if you want to make it work, you're gonna make it work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What are some? and you don't have to get into specifics because I'm
Mm.
not, it doesn't have to be that deep. But like, even if there is like a moment that you felt like, okay, this was this was the moment that probably tested us the most, and or even tested you personally. Like, what is something, or what's a moment in your marriage where you felt like, okay, you got tested the most and you came out even better than before you went into that particular scenario or general situation?
Uh, that's a hard one. Probably, I would have to say, um, that tested us. I don't know, man. I think all our, the tests were super trivial and small.
Mm,
Because both of us are easygoing.
okay.
So like there's the probably, you know, uh when you're a DJ,
Mm,
when women run up to you and
hmm.
they want to hang around the DJ and stuff
Yep.
like that. Like,
Yep.
sometimes you have to convince your other woman, look, I'm going home with you.
Mhm.
They just want to hear Maxwell or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
but I think you know not clamping down on certain relationships,
Mm, mhm,
um that totally platonic, but could seem like it was something else.
mm,
You know what I mean?
mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And probably something like that, that we worked out.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I can.
as a DJ, you get like, not even as a DJ, you have to have barriers between your female friends and yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely agree with that as somebody who has had to deal with that in a multitude of areas, being a creative, whether it's been a DJ, whether it's been an artist, whether it's been a
Right.
producer, whether it's been
'Cause
a radio host,
we're around beautiful women all the time.
all the time, and like being completely transparent. I didn't always put up them barriers as strong and hard as I needed to, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You're
And
not the only one.
yeah, yeah. And as a result, it caused friction in my marriage one too many times, you know what I'm saying? And it had to be a thing where it's like you said, I had to reassure my wife that she's number one,
Right.
because there was a lot of times where I I put that question or I put that doubt in her mind, So being able to establish those barriers and boundaries, is something that protects you, is something that protects your wife. It honestly protects the other people. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because if they
Yeah.
get too close and they feelings start getting involved, then it's just messy. So to be able to overcome that and to be able to clamp down, as you said, it's really one of those things. Like, yes, that is a test. That's a major test
Yeah.
for people in our positions.
Makes you just want to be a plumber, right? Not even in the entertainment industry.
But that come with its own set of issues,
Yeah.
because like if you in a uniform and like
Yeah,
all of that
yeah.
stuff that women like when it comes to a man that's good with his hands,
And
like
and
that
you
might be worse.
and you under her sink fixing pipes. Yeah. You
So
know what?
many innuendos that could be inferred.
Just throw the whole male occupation system out the way. Like, yeah.
Like nothing safe.
No
maybe
job
a
is safe for
maybe a garbage man, maybe.
during the
Maybe.
day, yes.
Yeah.
During the day, yes.
And don't let it be
Mm.
90 degrees outside.
Oh, dog. I am, you know what, man? I am dreading these past couple summers, man, there have been no good R&B songs to last us through the summer. Remember when there was great
Yeah.
R&B through the summer?
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
miss
think
those
I
days.
think like people say Rihanna. Like I'm not a big Rihanna fan.
I'm not a huge Rihanna fan. I like songs of hers, but like to get me to buy multiple albums of hers or to get me to get into multiple songs of hers, nah, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, for a
Yeah.
summer, like come on now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Like,
shout out to Riri. I love you.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what that song is. Kiss It Better. I do love Kiss It Better. That is my song.
I don't
That's a
think I
great.
heard that.
That's from the Anti album. I think that's the same album that had Needed Me,
Mm.
Love on the Brain.
This what was the song with Drake? Work isn't work on that album?
Yeah, Works on that album. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually my favorite Rihanna album, actually. Like, and it's the only one I've ever listened to front to back, like without
Really?
wanting to skip most of it, or
Mhm.
half of it. You know what I'm saying? And then she remade a Tame Impala song on that album too. Not remember the name of that Tame Impala song. If I hear it, I know it. But that was actually a really good album. But still, a whole summer, we don't get that often, you
At
know.
all.
Yeah.
I kind of liked and I hate to say this. DJ Khaled.
Uh-huh.
He had a scissor song where she sings over an Outcast sample.
Yes. Yes.
Fire.
Yes. Yes.
Fire. I
Yeah.
thought I thought that song was gonna be out of here.
I did too.
It did
I did
nothing.
too. Nothing, man.
It did
Nothing.
nothing.
Yeah, I when they put that in the record pool when I still had a record pool subscription, I was so psyched to get that joint. I was like, give me that, give me the instrumental, give me the acapella, give me every version I can get of this. Dud. Dud.
But
I was so disappointed. I was like, y'all did not push this record well at all. At all. You know.
man.
That's another conversation we can have all
Yeah.
day. Records that should have been pushed harder because I referenced this recently. I always go back to Tony Braxton, Take This Ring. It should have never been the third, fourth single, whatever it was.
Oh,
Like they should have rolled that out first, let me
that
tell it.
should have been they should have had that for the first 5 songs of the album.
Yeah. Yeah. Like exactly. 1 through 5. Just keep playing that.
When you say that, I think about Raheem Until. That
Yes.
is that is
Yes.
a wonderful song.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very inspirational song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Raheem got quite a few joints like that. It is like, y'all should have rolled this one out first, or at least second.
Like
You know,
Jive, what were y'all think? Was he, yeah, he was on he was on Jive.
Jive Records, man, and black folks. Unless you were R. Kelly.
Man,
Yeah. They didn't always do right by us.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's another conversation. Record
Yeah.
labels that didn't do right by R&B artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but bro, this has been fantastic, man.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you. This has been a great conversation. Man, listen, if I had 2 more hours, we would keep going.
Gotta do this on a weekend.
I know, right? I know, man. This is great, bro. This is great. But man, I appreciate you. And as always, with all of my guests, I give you the opportunity to plug yourself, plug everything that you're doing. And this is your time.
Oh, okay. All right. My name is Gadget. I am a content creator. I'm a podcast producer. I have a new podcast out with a young lady named Nia. The name of her podcast is The 40 and Over Experience. You can check her out over at the 40 and Over EXP on Instagram. We just put up her first podcast ever. Uh, she's not for everybody, but she's hilarious. Like she's talking about everything over 40 from her perspective because she's over 40. And Scratch Magazine TV. I do the beat video pause. I do beat videos. I do record store visit videos, and just check me out at Digital Hustler, spelled correctly at Digital Hustler all one word on Instagram or all stream. I'm about to say on all streaming platforms, on all social media platforms.
Yes,
That's it.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, yeah. That clip that you put up
Dog.
about the D pics.
Dog. I was in the background like this.
She gave up the CIA secrets on that one.
Dog. They got Yelp. They got Yelp going on in the background.
Right, right. Man, I seen that clip. I was like, yeah, I need to see this whole episode.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
this is great.
She is off the chain.
Yeah, yeah. And you all, yeah, and I got to give you your flowers because you are always associated with like some just out of the box series. Like I always think about like when you were doing copious amounts with shout out our brother
Camber.
yeah, shout out brother Camber, man.
We
Like
we
I
we
love
we we
copious
coming back.
amounts, man.
Shout
Yeah,
out to my
yes.
man Al Green. We coming back.
Absolutely, man. Like I just think that's a dope format. Like this podcast you talking about, like, I mean, just that one clip, I was like, yeah, this is different. I like this. I like this. Like we need more stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? If my man
Yeah.
Gadget involved in it, I know it's gonna be top tier.
Oh
You know what
man.
I'm saying?
I love
So
it. Thank you,
yeah,
man.
absolutely, absolutely. And thank you once again for just a fantastic music conversation. Fantastic R&B conversation, and even the tidbits about like just your own personal experience because you sprinkled that throughout the conversation. That's what it's all about, bro. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you for understanding the assignment and
Yeah.
going above and beyond, my brother.
I hope it's an interesting watch for your viewers, man.
I already know it will. I already know. I mean, if nothing else, just go to the part about Lilo Thomas. Just go to that part. I'm telling you,
Oh man.
you are
When
the
we
only person
uh
that I know has a Lilo Thomas story. I'm like, because I'm like probably one of the low key biggest Lilo Thomas fans. So the moment you said that, I was like, bruh.
hey, a lot of people do not know who he is.
They don't. They don't. They don't. But like I got stories about him for days. You know what I'm saying, including my own little
Okay.
extracurricular activities. Lilo Thomas was on quite a few playlists.
Yeah. Him and Albie Shore
Yes,
was
sir.
yeah, Night and Day was on a couple playlists.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Night and Day. Little Ooh, This Love Is So. Throw that in there
Oh,
too.
all right. Yo, Joe, just stop the cameras now. Before we go to another hour.
Right. I know. Oh man, but I appreciate you once again, bro. We'll definitely be getting up soon, man.
Thank you for having me, brother.
All right, no problem. Peace, brother.
Peace.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was my brother Gadget with a fantastic conversation tonight, man. I'm telling y'all gonna have to run this one back, maybe a couple of times. So I'm so grateful to him for coming on tonight and having this conversation about love and good R&B music. And of course, y'all know that this particular part of the series, this is based on my current single that is out right now called Resilient. You can get it on all streaming platforms. Let me play the little clip so y'all can actually hear it in the background. I bill it as an R&B slow jam instrumental single from yours truly. Available now for purchase and streaming on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. It is on Bandcamp, it's on Tidal, and it's also on my website, bammllc.net/music. On my Bandcamp page, it is ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. And I'll run the banner for those of y'all need to see it at the bottom of the screen. So definitely appreciate everybody who has been supporting the single so far. Also, you see me in merch. I have the Make R&B Music Great Again hat right here, and I also have my Vampire State University shirt. I'm not sure if this one is still on the website, but the color one is definitely on the website. But if you see any merch that you like on me right now, you can also get that at my website, which is bammllc.net/shop batch. Once again, that is bammllc.net/shop batch. And you can also follow the brand on Facebook and X at Batch, actually on Facebook and Instagram at batch.202. And on X, it is batch_202. And if you're not already following me on social media, I am at AJ Throwback on Facebook and X. On Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, I am at a.j.throwback. And right here on YouTube, I am at AJ Throwback 928. So please make sure, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you do so. Hit that bell notification so whenever I go live, post a new video, premiere a new video, you'll be among the first to know. And please also make sure that you like, comment, and share this video if you enjoyed this conversation tonight. If you enjoy any of the conversations that we've had so far in this series, please make sure to spread the love and share with your folks. So we will be back next week with another episode, wrapping up our series in Resilient Love before we start transitioning into the album tracks in a few weeks. So y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned for that. Until next time, I want y'all to enjoy the rest of your Friday, enjoy your weekend. And of course, as I always say, it's all about bringing back the love conversations. It's not just about the love conversations, but I always like to say it's bringing back TLC, as in tender love and care, all of that good stuff. So y'all enjoy, and I will see y'all next time right here for another episode of Bring Back the Love Conversations. Until then, y'all be easy. Peace.